This video is brought to you by Granger Motors, where you can save up to $1,300 on a factory extended warranty on your new Ford or Ram, Jeep, Chrysler vehicle.
In this video, we're doing our hot weather towing torture test on two trucks.
This F-150 is going to serve as the baseline. It's a traditional gas-powered V6, and we're going to compare it against the new Cybertruck, both of these towing at their maximum towing capability.
Well, let's go up the mountain. It's a very hot summer day. I cannot wait to see what happens because last time we tested a gasoline-powered V8, it overheated.
Yeah, so we're going to make these trucks sweat.
How about we tow this, our skid steer?
Yeah, this is going to be a pretty heavy setup. We got our turnbuckles and our chains strapping it down, and this total should be around 10,500 pounds.
Which is maxing out this F-150 Tremor, and it's coming close to maxing out the Cybertruck.
Within 500 pounds.
Yes. So the F-150 has a very clever trailer hookup and trailer management software system. Of course, it has the cameras. We put in our way-safe weight distribution hitch, and right now I'm backing up. Of course, it's going to beep at me. There's case, get it pretty precisely. Okay, and now I also have onboard scales. And as case is loading it up, you can see there the weight increasing as the suspension squishes down. It's got height sensors. And hopefully, ooh, we just went over. This is why we call it torture. But we're not done yet. We also have weight distribution. So Ford said they built this new tailgate specifically for towing.
Yeah, how so?
Well, because even if you have a trailer,
right,
you should be able to just still open this up. Hey, it works because we have our bars.
Yeah, we got our weight distribution bars, which should be nice.
Actually, so this is not bad. I mean, it has different kind of opening angles. Even if you had the trailer tongue, that would be kind of here.
Right.
You could still kind of reach in and get something.
Yeah, so potentially useful feature. I don't know if I would pick my truck face off of it, but I wouldn't be mad if I had it.
Okay. Dude, you're superhuman.
I know.
Can I do that? Let me do a little deadlift. Whoa! Okay, I got it.
Yeah.
Safety is number one. That's why we're using our new way-safe weight distribution hitch. So this should distribute the load to the front axle of the truck, the rear axle of the truck, and also the trailer.
Yeah, it's a really cool hitch setup. It's got a trick system that allows you to adjust actually how much tongue weight you're putting on it.
Yeah, exactly. And it's height adjustable too. So dude, like you said, we gotta start with the F-150.
Yeah, this is going to be the benchmark. And is there any reason that you picked these two trucks in particular?
Well, Elon Musk, CEO of Tesla, right, he launched the Cybertruck. And he said, I'm gonna build an electric pickup that's better than all other pickups.
Right.
That's not exactly how he said it, but basically that was the gist. And the F-150, arguably, well, it's one of the best-selling trucks or vehicles in the country, and it's also really good at towing.
Absolutely, yeah.
So that's why I wanted to torture both of them at the same time and see how they behave.
And what's going to be interesting here is looking at our temps, because what we're doing today is harder than some of the other towing tests that we do in one particular metric, and it is heating, because when we're doing the Ike Gauntlet, we're still pulling up a steep grade like we will in a moment, but we're also going fast enough that you're getting quite a bit of cooling. This road is steep. We're going to pick up a lot of elevation, but we're not going to have nearly as much airflow.
Right, and we're still climbing over 3,000 feet of vertical elevation from the beginning to the end.
Starting at over 5,000 feet already.
Yes, right now the temperatures are already climbing, dude. So we started at around 215 degrees coolant temp, about the same on transmission and about the same on engine oil. But now the temperatures are quickly climbing.
Even as you speak, it's pretty steadily climbing. So what is the temperature, or really any of the temperatures on here, at which you might start to be concerned? Because we've also, back in the day when you had a Power Boost F-150, we overheated it.
Yeah, that was on the Vail Pass when we're doing a really heavy towing test. The trucks are getting smarter by every year, right?
Yeah.
So if any of the temperatures are within or coming close to dangerous levels, the truck will warn us, right?
Yeah.
And then the first thing that will happen, it'll derate itself. So it'll try to pull power and let us know, I'm getting really, really hot in these areas, and you need to do something to, fix it.
Yeah, so almost a little bit of a limp mode, but really going into a limp mode on this road would not be ideal because we don't have a lot of shoulders here.
No pull-offs whatsoever.
Yeah.
So this is pretty extreme.
We kind of, fingers crossed, we're doing this to ourselves, but we kind of need the truck to keep going.
Exactly. And if you don't heed the warnings, then, things can boil over. I don't know, the coolant could boil over, expand, and, you could actually do damage to some components if you don't heed those warnings.
Oh, we're a little over 230 degrees right now on the coolant temp, which is warm.
And oil is 239.
Yeah.
Transmission is still staying coolish at 224.
Yeah, that's not too bad. It's still, overall, already pretty warm.
So there's another caveat with the Ford, right? So when you're talking about tow ratings that Ford specifies, in their owner's manual, they say that you need to reduce your overall weight if you're climbing an elevation, right?
Yeah, that's true. It's part of the manual and part of the tow rating.
Yeah, and gosh, I wish they didn't do that, because no other manufacturer does that in their rating. Because if it's 11,000 pounds of towing at the bottom of the lowest point in the country, it should be the same at the highest point of the country, right?
I know. I don't want to have to do math to figure out what my truck can tow. If they give me a tow rating, I want that to be the tow rating anywhere that I'm realistically going to drive it. Granted, I don't expect it to be able to tow that on top of Mount Everest, maybe, but any place that you're realistically going to drive your truck and tow with your truck, I'd like to have that solid number of what I can expect to be able to pull. Now, it is worth talking about some specs on this particular truck. This is a pretty common powertrain spec on this truck. So,
I am floored.
Oh, you're joking?
I'm not joking.
And you're in second gear.
Yes.
18 miles an hour. What's our RPM? Does it say?
It's 2,200 RPM or 2,500 RPM.
Oh boy. And yeah, and our coolant temp is 239, 241 now. It's warm. It's very warm. It's also giving us a message here that Pro Power Onboard is currently unavailable.
But we don't need it.
243. Yeah, we're getting warm here.
So it's 90 degrees ambient.
Yeah.
Do you see that?
It's hot. Wow. Okay.
So the F-150
248.
So there's no messages.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Engine coolant over temp.
Wow. Well, all right. Yeah, and it's saying 250 temp-wise. Yeah, this is, I'm guessing you're still kind of foot down.
I'm not 100% now. I'm letting it breathe.
Let me take a minute to tell you about this video's sponsor, Granger Motors, and their extended factory warranties for new vehicles. Today, more than ever, an extended factory warranty is a worthwhile consideration. The new cars and trucks coming out pack more amazing, yet unproven tech and complexity than ever. Knowing this, an extended factory warranty buys you peace of mind. If something goes wrong, you're covered for repairs and parts for years after the original warranty expires. A factory-backed warranty means repairs are done by factory-trained technicians who know your vehicle inside and out and are trained to repair known problems. A factory-backed warranty ensures that your car or truck gets replaced with true factory parts and in some cases upgraded factory parts to fix those known issues. So next time you buy a new Ford or Ram, Jeep, Dodge or Chrysler vehicle, go to Granger Motors for an extended factory warranty. Granger is the #1 seller of Ford Protect warranties and one of the top sellers of Mopar vehicle protection warranties in the country. This volume lets their customers save an average of $1,300. So what are you waiting for?
Dude, this is really heavy.
Yeah.
And the truck is struggling. Okay,
yeah.
now it's leveled off.
Yeah, and here's the deal too. So the first time we found out about this road, we weren't trying to torture test a truck necessarily. We were bringing two side-by-sides up this hill,
yes,
which is not an unreasonable thing to do. There's a lot of trails up here. There's a lot of campsites up here. So maybe you won't have to bring a skid loader here. Not that there are homes up here.
There are homes that you need to do work, yes.
Yeah, construction goes on up here. But even if you were coming up here for a long weekend to do some camping and you were trying to pull a camping trailer or a couple side-by-sides like we had 2 on the trailer when we overheated that Silverado. It's not
that was a
unrealistic.
transmission overheating issue, not an engine.
So it's not unrealistic to tow up this hill in the summer. It happens. We've done it before, not just to test a truck, but actually to get things that we need to tow up here. So
okay, so it kind of leveled up for a second, and the coolant temp dropped all the way to 217.
Yeah.
So coolant, the radiator is able to work quite efficiently, but it's hard to cool off your transmission and oil, right? Once they gain temperature, there's not many places that temperature can go.
Yeah, so your engine oil temp is still about 250 degrees, 249 is what it's saying right now. And the engine oil temp, like you're saying, it's not going to cool off as quickly as the coolant temp did.
Maybe we should turn down our AC. What do you think? I mean, we're still not done climbing.
Yeah, it's so hot. Well, we got our cooled seats. Sure, why not? Let's pop the AC off. And we'll just lean on the
our ventilated seats are on, and they're helping us a little bit. Wow! So it did derate itself.
Yeah, it did.
So and then it gave me the warning. So that was kind of a unique. I haven't noticed that before on any other truck.
So do you want to talk any specs on this powertrain? I mean, it's a pretty well-known powertrain at this point.
Well, I was a little scared. Okay, let's say it. So it's a 3.5 liter EcoBoost, which is one of the most popular engines actually in the F-150.
Yeah.
400 horsepower,
500 pound-feet of torque.
Yep, and it's got a 10-speed automatic, and it also has, because this is an off-road truck and it's a trimmer, it's got a 373-to-1 axle ratio.
All of which is pretty good for towing.
Yes.
And it's nice being up here at altitude that we do have a turbocharged powertrain. That's going to help us a little bit as far as how much power you lose going up in elevation.
Yeah.
We're not going to lose as much power with this as we would if we had a Coyote. Although I have to admit, this motor, it's a negligible cost, but it's on the spec sheet about $290 more
extra
than the Coyote.
Than the V8, yeah.
And man, I think I would have to get the Coyote.
We're about halfway done.
Yeah, we're a good ways up the mountain.
Yeah, but we're still climbing.
Oh yeah.
We need to talk about another thing, why I think this comparison makes sense, right?
Yeah.
It's because, well, first of all, I'm really curious about how Cybertruck will do. Right?
For sure.
Will the Cybertruck have the same resilience or different resilience on this test?
And we can monitor a lot of different temps in that Cybertruck, which is nice. Not a ton of EVs out there give you that kind of breakdown, so it's something that we can check out in that truck and kind of compare how much temp it builds as we drive uphill here.
Exactly.
But another way, to your point, in which these two trucks are actually surprisingly similar is on price.
Yeah, so this truck, the F-150 Tremor 2024 model, starts at around 65 grand.
Right.
But this is also has a premium package, which gives you many different upgrades. But that's an expensive package.
It is. It's $11,000 for this one package. And that one package gets you a lot of things. It gets you a nicer interior, a lot more comfort features. It adds some functional components like the Torsen front differential in this Tremor, which is also really nice to have. So there's quite a bit good about it. But that plus this $1,500 moonroof, plus a few other things, sticker on this is just under $81,000, about $80,600.
Yeah. And then the Cybertruck, that's a dual motor truck, and we bought a Foundation Series because that was the first, the early way to do it.
Yeah.
And the Foundation Series adds $20,000 package on top of a base $80,000 truck.
Yeah, 20 grand for some stickers and all-terrain tires.
And also self-driving that we don't have.
Yeah.
And also, some other things
some
that we don't have.
theoretical features.
Yes.
That'll
but if it wasn't a Foundation Series, it would be the same price as this, actually.
That's true. So at some point you will be able, well, are they available yet? Just a regular one?
No, I don't believe so. I think they're still just selling the Foundation Series trucks.
But at some point, you'll be able to get mechanically that truck for the same price that this is currently listed for. Neither of them are cheap. They're both very expensive trucks. So we expect them both to perform well. Is that wheel spin?
Yeah, that's wheel spin.
So another part of our $11,000 package is having 4 auto, isn't it?
Yeah, and I just did it. I can't believe
you're screaming tires.
I'm getting all-terrain tires slipping on this dirt road.
Doing a burnout.
Okay, so now I am I'm in all-wheel drive mode. So that should help me with traction.
Yeah, and we had a slightly flatter section there, so our temps are down a little bit. Engine oil temp is still 237 degrees, so it's not cool. But now we have an even slower uphill section at even higher elevation because we are over dirt. This is washboard. They're pretty tight switchbacks. So especially pulling a trailer and going uphill, not easy to carry speed. So this is going to be the worst airflow that we have in this whole drive.
And technically the speed limit here is near 20 miles an hour. And like you said in the very beginning, there's not a lot of air moving.
No.
Right. And that's very hard on this truck. I'm noticing one thing, dude. As hard as this truck is working, and a lot of our temperatures are near maxes, we're not hearing like a very loud engine fan.
No, which
in some trucks, you could hear it like whirring and like it's actually kind of nervous.
Especially old school mechanical fans, you really hear them a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, in this truck, you really don't hear much of the cooling system going at all.
Thank goodness they just graded this road, so there's not a lot of...
Yeah, it's the smoothest I've seen it.
There's not a lot of washboard, right? Because that would have made it even worse.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, we just need to make it another mile. Do you think we can do it?
The sun is pushing down on us pretty hard. It feels oppressive.
Maybe we should have removed some weight off this trailer. Maybe I was being too optimistic.
Yeah, it is. We're right at this truck's rated maximum weight, and it's a big ask.
Oh my gosh, there's a semi coming down. Oh, and a grader.
Oh yeah.
What is happening here?
Boy, it is a little narrow on this road.
I'm at 243, dude. Ooh. On coolant.
Yeah, we're closing in on it, going into limp mode again. 244. It was at 250 last time.
Yeah.
Transmission temp also at 249. Yeah, engine oil temp 251. Ooh, 253 now on oil temp and 251 on trans temp. 246 on coolant. Oh man.
It's so close. It's so close.
We're pushing it. Is it gonna overheat twice? 238.
Why are there like 100 semis?
Yep. Oh. It happened again. And this is the crest of the hill, isn't it?
Pretty much.
Yeah, so right here as we crested the top, it overheated, well not limp mode one more time. It didn't boil over.
It didn't boil over.
It's not our Model T.
Model T would have been going, spewing some, coolant and water all over the place.
Yeah, well, at that angle, it would have splashed all the coolant out. So with the transmission temp having gotten up to 255 as we see it there, how concerned would you be about needing to change that fluid fairly soon?
I'm getting there. I think I'm there. Because remember, you and I have done many gauntlets as well with Mr. Truck, right? Sure. And I usually hate seeing a transmission over 235.
Yeah.
But it didn't actually tell us anything about the transmission.
Yeah.
It just warned us about the coolant. It didn't tell us, stop immediately, transmission overheating. So
yeah, which is interesting because the transmission is right now is really hot.
So dude, we went all the way up and all the way down the mountain.
Yeah.
15.7 miles. So almost 8 miles of uphill.
8 tough miles.
Yes. And you could see our time was quite long.
Yeah.
We've been idling a little bit. And the truck recovered completely. So if you look at the temperatures right now, all temperatures are below 200 degrees.
Yeah, but it definitely got warm enough that I think some of those fluids might maybe benefit from being changed sooner rather than later.
Yeah, and we want to thank Ford. They loaned us this truck for testing. And usually on these test trucks, they change oil and fluids quite a lot because they know these trucks do drag racing, they off-road, they tow trailers, they do all kinds of stuff.
They're put through their paces.
Yeah, so I'm pretty impressed. We made it all the way. I mean, we got 2 warnings.
Yeah.
And 2 slowdowns, but the truck never, there was no smoke billowing, and it never kind of let us down.
No, and honestly, as crazy as it sounds, towing up that hill, something overheating in a gas-powered truck is kind of the standard.
Yeah, as we were finding out.
Yeah.
Well, can electric truck do it better?
We'll find out.
The fan in this truck is a little bit loud.
Yeah, but we kind of need it because it gets real hot real fast in this.
It does.
Look at all this glass.
We have a lot of glass, and we have a little bit of shade. So if I go to tow haul, you plug the 7-pin connector, the trailer wire in, and it immediately set me up here, but it didn't have the correct gain. So let's start with 7 once again.
Yeah.
And I have a brake controller here or here.
Right, so you can do it on the wheel. So there is a hard button for it, which is good.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily the most obvious thing.
Adaptive regenerative braking, trailer alarm, right scroll wheel, trailer brake. Tilt scrolling wheel to the right. Okay, so now when I touch the scrolling wheel, I can see my trailer brakes come on. So we're set up, and then we finally zeroed out our trip A. So we'll see how much energy we're using and not using.
And as far as temps go, I know in an off-road mode you can see what the temps of the different electric motors are.
Or in like special service mode, but we don't want to do something special that an owner wouldn't do.
No,
right?
Ideally we want to be in a tow mode, but before we get moving, what are our temps at?
Let's take a look. You might have to unplug it.
Yeah, let me try unplugging it and see if we can
Figure it out.
Off-road mode and get a baseline temps. Yeah, there we go. Okay, suspension is lifting up.
Suspension is adjusting a little bit. Loading the app, and here are our temps.
Okay.
I mean, we can see our tire pressures, which is good. And then we have like 3.5 bars on the front motor, like 2 3/4 bars of temperature on the rear motor, and the battery temperature somewhere in the middle, right?
Yeah. So I guess that gives us a little bit of a baseline. We won't be able to track it as we're going uphill,
precisely, yeah.
which is a little annoying.
Yeah, it is annoying.
It'd be
actually very annoying.
Yeah, it'd be cool to be able to pull that up while we're towing, but
or just monitor it while we're towing.
Yeah, but we'll just have to see what it is as soon as we get to the top of the hill. Once we crest the hill, I can run back, unplug it again, we can go into off-road mode and see how we're doing.
Got it. All right, dude, so we're beginning our torture test in the Cybertruck.
Yeah, and right off the bat, there are some nice things about this truck. We've got quite a few camera views.
Yeah, so for example, well, this is my rear view mirror because our tonneau is closed. I have no visibility towards the back physically. There's no glass that I can look through right now.
Even when the tonneau is open, you see
mostly
so
bad.
Little. Yeah, it's really a bad back window. I wish they would have made this a camera mirror because instinctively that's more often where I look to try and see what's immediately behind. Yes. So why they couldn't have put that view up there in a $100,000 truck, I don't know.
Me neither. I don't know that either. And there's a couple of good things and a couple immediately bad things about the towing experience here. What's good, as soon as you plug in the 7-pin, the truck decides it's towing, right? Yeah. And it's already kind of enters you in the screen. It prepares you, you know, with the trailer brake gain, the one you set beforehand, right? And it already kind of sets you up. But the negative is it doesn't let you define a trailer.
Yeah.
So for example, yesterday Alex and Tommy were towing a different trailer, and they had different settings than we needed today.
Yeah, and so this pulled up their settings rather than us being able to create a profile for this trailer like you can in a lot of other trucks. And you'd kind of expect that from a Cybertruck because Tesla is obviously very big on software and programming. Yes. So you would think that they would match a lot of the other trucks on the market as far as software features.
Yes, this truck, actually these trucks are similar in size as far as length. The wheelbases are almost identical, about 145 inches on both of these. This truck has air suspension and 4-wheel steering. Those are both positives because you have more stability while towing, better maneuverability, and also comfort, right?
Yeah, and you can also adapt for the tongue weight that the trailer is putting on the back of the truck, so you're not going to see any visible squat here, which is nice. Air suspension is really good for that. Of course, going uphill here, as we're going to see, we're going to get really good power delivery. It's going to be instant, unaffected by the altitude.
What if it's affected by temperatures?
It could be affected by temperatures, and we'll have to see if it derates itself. Yeah. But we'll have good acceleration right off the bat. We'll have regeneration on the way back down. And the other thing that'll be interesting to see So I really don't know how much this truck depends on airflow for its cooling.
And it does have certain fans, right? And it does have a little bit of a lower grill area for its radiators, because the battery are obviously temperature controlled, and the motors are also, temperature controlled as well.
Yeah, but compared to the F-150, which very much wants air
and has a
flowing
huge
into
grill,
the grill.
Huge grill.
Yeah, I'm not sure that the cooling in this truck is as dependent on the air flowing into the front of the truck.
Right. Also, this truck is heavier than the F-150 because it does have a big battery. It's an all-electric truck.
Yeah, which makes it stable.
It makes it more stable because it's always a little sketchy when your trailer doubles the weight of your towing vehicle, right? It becomes a little bit sketchy, even though the Ford was stable as heck also, and that weight distribution hitch helped because it also has sway control and built in.
Yeah, it towed great. It didn't at any point, at least from the passenger seat, feel unstable.
And on the highway getting here, it also was pretty solid. So,
but it is worth mentioning that we did tow this trailer here with the Ford, because if we had towed it here with the Cybertruck,
we could have lost more range.
Yeah, already range at that point would be a little bit.
Well, you can see our energy usage, which is pretty insane, 3350 watt hours per mile. Yeah, which is it's burning through a lot of energy right now.
And especially tugging uphill, even the Ford wasn't doing great on fuel. But as we know from the towing that we've done in this truck in the past, the towing range with this truck is not good. We've covered that. This is more about the performance
and the hot weather performance.
Exactly.
Yes. So right now I feel like I have a lot of control.
No, it seems to be coping with it really well. This was around the point that we had the F-150 initially overheat.
Or give us a warning at least. Yeah.
Yeah, and again, there's not nearly as much for us to monitor in this truck as we can in the F-150, but so far it's not giving us any cause for concern.
Dude, we already burned through at least 10% of battery.
Yeah, so we're
it's
down
at
to
75. We started at about 87, 86%.
Doesn't take long to crank through battery in this truck. Most EV pickup trucks struggle as far as range when you're towing. This is definitely not at the top of how well EV trucks can perform in towing range. The best range that we've seen towing in an EV is the Silverado EV, because it's a huge battery.
Yeah, when you and I tested that out in the kind of flat interstate highways, we went over 200 miles with a large slab-sided trailer.
Yeah, which is better than this, better than the F-150 Lightning by a pretty big margin.
Huge margin, yeah.
And understandably so. It's a 200 kilowatt hour battery.
Yeah, like 212-ish. Yeah. So, and this is 124.
Which is
or 122.
More standard compared to a Rivian or a Lightning.
Yeah, so the Chevy Silverado EV and Sierra EV that's coming, those have the biggest batteries, at least for now.
No surprise they can tow far.
Yeah.
Further, at least.
So I think this was about where, when I was accelerating, my rear tires began to spin in the Ford. And I quickly put it in four-wheel drive auto.
Yeah.
This is already all-wheel drive.
Exactly. We're dual motor in this particular spec, around 600 horsepower.
Okay, so I'm going about the same speed, dude. So I'm not... You know what? This truck doesn't like the washboard.
No.
It seems like it's pulling power, so I think the traction control system comes in.
Yeah.
And it starts to pull power as soon as I start to, the chatter.
Yeah, and that chatter comes through, it seems like it's coming through the hitch a little bit more so than
the Ford. Yeah.
The air suspension on this truck is very comfortable, but I do feel like that hitch is transferring a little bit more shock to the structure of this vehicle than it did on the Ford.
And it might also be the tires and the wheels, right? So the Ford is rolling on 18-inch wheels with a 33-inch all-terrain tire. This truck has a 20-inch wheel with a 35, but not a lot of sidewall still on this particular tire.
This truck theoretically should be about $80,000, but this particular one, being a Foundation Series, is closer to 100. Well,
yes,
it is 100.
It is 100.
And part of that is it having those all-terrain tires. So in that way, the two trucks are actually pretty comparable. Making a bit of noise there.
It is making some noise, and it's still not liking the the chatter. It's not liking the washboard as much. Wow. I think we're pushing it to its very, very limit, dude.
Yeah, it's definitely some strain on it. You can hear, I mean, we can hear at least.
We can hear it whining.
The electric motor moaning a little bit.
But it's not giving us any warnings or anything bad happening, right?
No, as far as it's telling us, it should be happy.
Okay, we burned through 20% of battery, in under about 6 miles?
Yeah, we're at 67% battery, so we used quite a bit of energy just going up that short 8-mile stretch.
And this is how much energy we used. In 7 miles, 24 kilowatt hours.
Oh, yeah, wow.
That's a lot of energy, dude.
Yeah, 24 minutes, we used 24 kilowatt hours, so about 1 per minute.
Yeah.
Which is a lot. And here is our parking lot. So,
all right, this is the crest. This is the summit of the mountain.
yeah, I'm gonna jump out and unplug us.
Super fast. I'll hold this.
What our numbers are.
Hold on. It's not quite there yet.
Does not want to go on off-road?
Oh, wait.
Oh, it doesn't want to show us. You're holding out on us.
Come on.
Can we,
Come on, Elon.
key cycle it? All right, screen's off now. Let's see if this does it.
My key cycle I had to exit.
Yeah.
Elon, are you listening? Turn off trailer mode.
Oh, there we go. Wow. So
4.5. Well, it had some time to recover a bit.
a little bit,
but
a minute.
the battery is a little bit warmer than we saw.
Yeah, well, and so are the motors, ever so slightly warmer.
But it never, I think, reached like the maximum limits. All right, dude, so we made it all the way down. And look at this. We started at the top of the mountain at 26 kilowatt hours. Now it's 15.
Yeah, so we picked up 11 on the way down, which means in total for the round trip we used 15 kilowatt hours.
Yeah.
Still a decent chunk of battery,
Yeah.
but it's not too bad.
Probably about 14%, maybe 13% of battery for this trip.
Yeah.
So this is a really, really hard test.
Yeah, it is.
But I gotta say, at times when towing with a Cybertruck, I almost forgot there was a trailer behind me.
Yeah, it's not to say that it isn't a truck that doesn't tow well.
Yeah.
The truck tows well, it just doesn't tow very far.
Yeah, the energy capacity of the battery is still not like a diesel or a gasoline truck would be. But it's impressive. It never detuned itself. It never overheated in any visible way. So pretty impressed.
Yeah, as far as we could tell, the truck was perfectly happy to do it.
Alrighty, well, that's it for this test. Let us know what you think in the comments below. alltfl.com for everything automotive in one place, and tflstuff.com for our merch, right?
Yeah.
Nice.